Techthusiasm, home theater, living room home theater overhaul, continuing the vlog series and putting some of the finishing touches on the Focal Utopia speakers here. Saturday afternoon, I actually started doing this, starting to kind of clean things up and put some things away in the storage room. I got a lot of like organizational type stuff to do as a follow-up to all the work that we have done here lately. But then I realized, shoot, I'm not filming. I should be filming this. This is another vlog because to date, the last, whatever it's been, a couple weeks or a week or so that these speakers have been running in the room here, we've just been running them grills off, open face, and just free to play. But in the long run, I don't think that's probably the wisest decision for a couple of different reasons. One, this is the main floor of the house. The windows are open. It's not a closed door theater in the basement. So all through the year, summertime in particular, windows open, doors open, there's going to be dust and things coming through. So having the grills on with some of the kind of felt coverings that I'll show that go on the backings, I think will be nice dust protection for the drivers. And then overall, I think the spousal acceptance factor and the presentation in the room will be preferable to have the grills on anyway. I kind of like it. It's grown on me and I could probably live with it like this. But again, long term, it's probably the better play to actually have the grills on. The other thing would be just protection. Protection of the drivers. We have a variety of littles in the extended family, not in our family anymore, but there's a bunch of littles that come over in the extended family. Last thing that I want to have anybody else in the family responsible for is some single-digit-year-old walking up to a $12,000 speaker array and pushing their fingers through or in or compromising one of the drivers. So the metal grills will be absolute protection against something like that happening, let alone just somebody in the household making one of our own mistakes and tripping or walking by and bumping a driver or something with an elbow. And who knows, these teenagers, man, they're throwing a ball around or something like that they shouldn't be doing, and then boom, they hit one of these drivers, and that would be a sad day. That would be a sad day for Dad. So I think in the end, overall better to just go ahead and put the grills on. Curious, do you run speakers in your main living space, your living room, etc.? Do you run speakers, grills on, grills off? Some speakers don't even have grills. Some of them are just fabric, minor protection. Do you do it for dust? Do you do it for damage prevention as well? Sound off in the comments. I'm curious what folks have to say. Let's take a little bit of a vote. Grills on or off? What do you think? And in any case, let's go through the process here of kind of finalizing the presentation and the grill aspects of these Focal Utopia speakers. Of course, here they are in all their glory, and they've been awesome. We've been playing some video games in here, playing the Switch 2, still working on the calibration, and I still have some questions out about that as well. But let's go over this, what I've done so far, again, what I actually kind of neglected to film. So if you go back to the original video, you might have noted that one of my open questions was the open junction here between the speaker and the subwoofer module. What are we actually supposed to do with that? There's not a special included bracket that's intended to cover up that opening. So I discussed previously that we either use the bottom of the Utopia speaker or the top of the subwoofer bracket. And in either case, either one of them has some foam backing and stuff on it. So the tops have Focal, the words Focal and Utopia printed on them. The bottoms are just kind of plain black. So I went ahead and I used the top of the subwoofers. So it says Focal and Utopia again there, which means that the screws went in the bottom. Behind that panel, there's 8 screw holes, right? 4 screw holes for the speaker, 4 screw holes for the sub. Because I used the top of the subwoofer bracket, I used the 4 screw holes on the bottom, and the foam is above it. But it's cinched in there pretty good. The other side actually sits a little more flush than this side did. There's a little bit of a line. You can see there a little bit of it kind of sticking out. I think this would still be fine though. Again, if I was going grills off, I would be completely okay with this. I still think it would have been better if they would have had an 8 screw bracket included in the box or some other, I don't know, just some other means of obscuring this with no grills. But it's okay. And again, it covers it up, covers up the break in the wall, and it will take care of any dust infiltration and so on. This one, for whatever reason, this one sits nicer. This one sits a little more flush. I don't know if the speaker spacing was just slightly different in some way or another, how they ended up kind of sitting or laying in relation to each other in the wall. But this one almost seems like it was really, like it didn't even have the foam. It does, but this one sits much more flush. I may take the 4 screws out of the one on the left and then try to actually re-screw it in. If not, it's no big deal. Again, we're going to use the grills and everything's going to go behind them as well. You can see here, I'd already started to get some of the elements ready. So these bracket pieces will cover the endpoints of the speaker grills, one on the top, one for the junction, and one on the bottom with the Focal logo there. And I already got speaker 1 more or less set up. We'll film speaker 2. I did choose to use the black backer. This is kind of like a sticky, tacky, sticky stick-on backer, so it obscures the drivers a bit when the grill is on the speaker. So we have the big tall grill for the speaker section, and then of course the shorter grill piece for the subwoofer section. So I'd already taken those out of the box. I put those on. Those boxes are already downstairs and ready for organization. And I was just about to open up the second set of boxes here when I realized, oh man, let's film this whole kind of activity. All right, so let's get the second speaker ready basically for its grill. I've got the IWSUB box here. So again, one thing to keep in mind, I think I showed the brackets a little bit earlier. They actually give you 4 brackets in the box. That's because these speakers can go horizontal or vertical. So if we're going vertical, we would use the Focal logo on the bottom. If we're going horizontal, we would use the Focal logo on the right. So we're gonna need these 3 brackets, the middle bracket, the top bracket, and the bottom bracket. And the other one we'll end up just leaving in the box. So we need to get the grill out of here. We get the paint cover, don't need that. And then the grill comes as, basically as the metal grill, and then there's 2 other pieces in here, 2 coverings. So one is white, and one is this darker shaded material. I prefer the darker one myself. Both of these have a backing on them, so we're gonna set the white one aside. They're both kind of like felt, of course acoustically transparent and all of that. But what we need to do is take the backer off of here. Sometimes get in the corner can be a little tricky. It's not super sticky, but it's lightly tacky, so you gotta be a little bit careful with it. We set the backing aside. I do keep the backing just in case, whatever, there's ever kind of a future upgrade. So we can see actually this will stick and then it peels right off. So my goal here is to basically get this centered and aligned as best we can against the side. And then we just let it flow down nice and easy to the other side. We get any air gaps out, we contour it to the bubble of the end, and we're good to go. Now we've got more of a grayish tint, still very see-through. I don't know if you can see through in the video. Still very see-through, but we are ready now with that one. So that's the sub. I'm gonna get everything else for this one then, put back away in the box. Again, I do keep the backer just in case I need it again in the future. Always recommend, if you can, keeping the packaging for everything that you buy, because you never know when the next thing's going to come along, right? And always better to be able to sell stuff like new.
Keep packaging for everything you buy?
Almost everything. Some things you can't keep, like the screen. Definitely don't keep my screen boxes. Right, so we got just all these other things, the documentation, and then we need to take these off. So we'll come back in just a second and we'll take a look at the speaker grill. All right, so the speaker's next. As I mentioned, we used the top bracket from the subwoofer, so this is the bottom bracket for the speaker. This will stay in the box once we get everything ready to get put away in the storage room downstairs. I'm going to make sure that I keep my screws with the brackets for the speaker as well. That will go in the box. Take the documentation. That will stay in the box. And of course, this one also does come with brackets as well. It has a top cover, and there should be a bottom one in there. Also, we have our, here's the bottom one, press on the bottom. I'm just going to use the connecting brackets, the covering brackets from the subwoofer, not the speaker. So take that through, and they do give you a bunch of them. So here's the other Oh, this one comes with 3 brackets, not 4. The subwoofer comes with 4. The speaker comes with 3. So there's a vertical Focal logo bottom, or horizontal Focal logo bottom, and then the top with no logo on it. So this is a much bigger one, and I found much trickier to stick the backing on. I still did it by myself earlier, but I would recommend, if you have a second set of hands, to get this one lined up. It proves to be useful just because it is so big, again, and it's kind of lightly sticky on the back side. One thing that you don't want to do is get it folded up on itself or stuck backwards on itself. Alright, so we're going to go the sticky side down just to make sure. That might be it. Alright, so then once we get the edge down, we can fold it back just like I did and get it to lay nice and flat down. Push all the excess out. So that's the other problem that I had. It gets a little, it doesn't go down flat. Kind of give it a little pull. There we go. Okay. Fold it in. This one isn't sticking quite as well as the other one did, but I think we are set as we're going to be. So put this back in the box, get the box set aside, and move over into the actual room there. Okay, so this I found is nothing necessarily against Focal or anything, but the metal grills with so many catching points can really become a challenge to manage because they hold very strong and they don't shift very easy, and it's not the easiest to also take off without kind of like bending. And these, you're dealing with 3 different pieces that have to go kind of in just the right spot. It's a little bit of trial and error to get everything like lined up in the right place, in the right spot. Watch your hands. So there's the top grill, there's the bottom grill, and then we have our pieces that will stick on in between. So before you stick any of these pieces on, you really got to make sure that your alignment is good. Those look close together where you want them to be. I wish that these covers, that's a tight, that'll work. I wish that these magneted on. So there's a little bit of black down here on that one, which means that we probably have to move the whole thing down a bit. Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, I gotta be careful. I don't wanna scratch anything. So let's shift this one down here. Get it to break loose. Go down a little bit.
You want it to break loose?
Yeah, not break. I don't want to break anything. This grill has a... this is what I... better. So again, it's just total trial and error about getting these in the right spots. Okay, so I think we're about as aligned as we're gonna get. I had to shift them down just a little bit. So as you can see, there's a little bit of the speaker exposed up top, really about half of the bracket. these guys junction right here in the middle over top of that other plate that was screwed in. Then on the bottom, same thing, about half of the bracket shows down there. So the back of these, they have a felt piece that will go up against the speaker. So this black piece will end up touching the part of the speaker up here. And then this is the sticky tab that will stick to the white part of the speaker. So I think we should be able to just pull off. I always have trouble with these. Okay, so we peeled them all off. A little utility knife helped out quite a bit. We're just gonna go from the top down, and I'm gonna try to get these nice and flush to the edge of the speaker grill. They stick on. The instructions say they take like a day or so for the sticky to cure. The only downside that I see is with this method, taking these off, these ever have to come off. I hope they stick back on, or they don't preclude being able to remove. I think on this one we're gonna stick the bottom, or we stick the top. I think we stick the top. I almost would prefer, I think, if these were magnets themselves, and then this one could have magnets on the top and the bottom and really lock it in. But it is what it is. All right, last one on the bottom. The Focal logo. Nice solid stick right up against the edge of the grill. That does look really nice though. That's good. That looks sweet. I like that. I like that a lot. I think I do like the grills. I'll amend my prior statement. I think the grills look sharper than not. And I don't know that I want to paint these again. I'm really still wavering on the paint. I think the silver and the white with the backer in there, it almost makes the whole thing look a little grayish. And it balances against our trim and stuff in the room. I kind of like it. I really like it. And there we go. Both sets of grills on. Nice silver streaks. I may need to do a little more tweaking, especially on the longer sections. Almost, you have to kind of like play with the grills a little bit, give them a little bit of like a bend so that they get a really smooth grip and a really smooth fit. But we don't really have any bad gapping or anything like that. They both went on real solid. Yeah, these look sharp. These look really sharp. The other thing that I really like though, that I may have to go get some because I have some extras, is the other speakers in the 1000 series. They actually come with like 3D, they actually come with little squiggly Focal logos, but they're like kind of metal 3D, and you stick them into the holes of the grate at the bottom of the speaker. And I think those look really cool rather than just the printed logo on the bottom. I have some extra of them. I may put those either up on the top or maybe at the bottom of the Utopia speaker, maybe right here. I think those would look pretty cool. So we may add those. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I did the grills. And again, I don't know about painting these things. I think we may just be happy with them as they are. I think my wife will very much approve of this change, this finalization piece also. So we'll end this vlog here. I hope that was interesting, informative. Again, we're kind of continuing the series here as we finalize the little bits and pieces and elements of all of the setup, and I'm kind of glad that we waited, let them kind of break in, made sure everything was working and stuff before we locked in on the grills. So next up, still working on the television. I may have found a buyer. Everybody cross your fingers. I may have found a buyer for the 83-inch LG behind me, which means we're going to be able to transition into a 98-inch TCL much sooner than later. So we're working on that in the background right now. Also, we still need to break open the PC and try to fit that fan as an exhaust. And then there's still a little more finalization of the calibration and some of the audible tweaking and stuff like that. I need to send some questions over to Anthem about using Arc Genesis and calibrating a room with no subwoofers, just 2 full-range speakers. I want to clarify how some elements of Arc Genesis work with that. So stay tuned. The calibration video for this setup is coming once I feel confident about everything that I have to say within it. So again, sound off in the comments. Let me know what's your vote. Grills on, grills off. What do you think? Thanks for watching. Of course, if I can help you out with any of your audio video systems, your home theater upgrades, any of that sort of stuff, happy to advise, consult, and all of those things. And of course, I am a dealer, integrator, reseller for a whole bunch of brands, a whole bunch of home theater and audio video items, including most of the stuff that I really like and use myself. Kaleidoscape, Focal, JVC, Panamorph lenses, Seymour screens, Stewart screens too, LG TVs behind me. I can also do Epson, Sony, Denon Marantz, and a whole bunch of other popular brands. I can sell the Wattbox stuff and the Strong Racks and some of the other Snap things that I also use in my setups too. If you're interested in speccing something out, you'd like my honest feedback, what would be best for your system, what's the best way to deploy your assets, spend your money, and get the most benefit out of it, happy to talk and advise about all of that stuff. Please reach out to me, Jeremy at techthusiasm.net via email, or go to www.techthusiasm.com. My dealer info is there, company info, a brand listing. Of course, even if you see something that you're interested in not in the brand listing, still reach out. I'm working on things always in the background, and I have great partners and other folks that I work with as well. If you'd like to help me in a simpler way, there's a bunch of affiliate links down in the description of this video and all my videos, as well as on the webpage. Amazon, Walmart, Target, Audio Advice, Crutchfield, eBay, apparel stores, and more. Please use those in your regular shopping. It'd be much appreciated. I welcome anybody to become channel members and thank all of the channel members out there, as well as thanking you for your generosity for any super thanks, PayPal, Venmo tips, and any of that you may leave. Please do the regular YouTube stuff. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, share the video. Go back. If this is your first one, watch all the vlogs. There's a whole bunch of them. I hope they've been awesome and fun and entertaining and informative to everybody out there. We've still got a couple more steps in the project, so stay tuned. And come on back for more home theater discussion and fun. Thanks.